because you're asking yourself that you want to be a man. You're claiming to be a man, but you're not acting like a man. And you want to be a man. So what is actually stopping you? Because for you to get to where you want to be, you need to know where you are. And the question every man should be asking themselves is, why are you not acting as the man you should be?
Welcome to Exclusive Books Hyde Park. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here this evening. I just want to welcome Dr Njabulo James Nkosi, after getting nervous now, and Dr Njabulo, who I've worked with for many years. I've never met him face to face, so it's a true privilege. Lovely to see him face to face. Before we get on to the official proceedings, I just want to say a very, very big thank you to Derek and Zell and the amazing team here at Exclusive Books Hyde Park for hosting the special book launch in their prestigious shop. Just thank you so much. It's a pleasure working with you. And big thanks to Olive and Plates for the sumptuous snacks and catering that I think you've all tested already. Always delicious. I'm not going to take up too much time because this is Njabulo's night of celebration of this amazing book, Fatherhood. I've been working with him since January, and we've been on a real roller coaster ride with this book, and it's been amazing. It's been incredible, and he is an absolute pleasure to work with, a real gentleman. Grant Senzani is going to be in discussion with Njabulo, and for those of you that don't know him, he is a lecturer, entrepreneur, and emerging thought leader focused on education, personal development, and financial independence. He has a background in economics and financial advisory, and he combines academic insight with practical application to help people think clearly, act decisively, and build sustainable success. He is currently at Varsity College, an educator at Varsity College. He is known for simplifying complex ideas and driving strong student outcomes. His work is guided by a simple philosophy: honor the dream by doing the work. As he continues his journey toward an MBA, PhD, and a future as a professor and a speaker. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you.
Dr. Nkosi is also a speaker, author, and leadership mentor whose work bridges faith, purpose, and performance. He is a distinguished Toastmaster and a Doctor of Ministry. He has spent over a decade helping individuals and organizations raise standards, embrace accountability, and lead with intention. He is the author of the book Inspired Success, You Are a Business, and his latest book, Father of Man, The 5 Ideals to Build Better Men, a powerful call to build stronger men, families, and communities. I give you Dr. Nkosi.
How you guys doing? That's good? If you're good, say better than good and better than most.
Better than good, better than most.
All right, good. So Grant, if you can give me the privilege of just giving them the journey to how I got here. All right, cool. So raise your hand if you've read a book of mine before. Just raise your hand, raise your hand. Wow, okay, that means I've got a lot of customers. So if you haven't read a book of mine, go get yourself a copy. It'll be good for you to have. And I just want to say thank you for making the time to come out and be with me in this very very special occasion. It's a book launch at Hyde Park. Not many people can say that they've done that, and I can say that I've done that, yes, so please talk to me nicely. So I just want to give some thanks first. I don't start speeches without saying thanks first. First and foremost, I'll just thank my God, and then a very special woman who has never missed a single event of mine, not one, not a single. even my birth, she was there. From my birth to me getting married to the first book launch to this book launch. I'll just say thank you to my mother, Dr Njabulo Nkosi. You are the part of the heartbeat behind every sentence, and you introduced me to God, and you introduced me to the Bible, you introduced me to reading, and more importantly, you married the man who became my father, which is a very great thing. So please give my mother a round of applause. Thank you. I also like to thank my brothers who raised your hand if you were at the fireside chat last week, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, the brothers at the fireside chat. Yes, you were at the fireside chat. And all the men in my life that I've known for quite a while, thank you for being able to share your stories that were part of this book. Grant, you and I would go way, way back. A decade. We go back a decade. I also thank you for that. I also want to thank Helen. You are a pleasure to work with. You are the best in the business. You've been in this business for as long as I've been alive, or even longer. So give her a round of applause for that. And all my colleagues and my Kids All Stars team that are here, and everyone from Rivers Church, you guys are amazing. I'll deal with you later when I'm quitting. I'd like to also my wife, the love of my life. You've seen the best and the worst of me, and you still chose me. Questionable decision, but you still did. I thank you for the heartbeat behind every single sentence, and I just want to give a sort of a bit of discourse how I got here. So it's her fault that this book made it. No, it's her fault. It's sometimes good for you to blame your wife, guys. It's okay. So in 2019, which was about 6-7 years ago, which was about 6-7 years ago, I just launched You Are a Business, right?
Yeah.
And, I asked myself the question, what book should I write next? Should I write a book on education, or should I write a book about being a better man? She looked at me, I asked her, she was my fiance at the time, and she said, you should write Father of Man because the world needs it and you need it too. I was like, that's great advice. I tried not to be offended, because are you saying I'm not you know what I mean? And for anyone who wants to pen some work together, wants to write a book and discourse, one thing you need to know is that life will test you on the work that you're about to write.
Oh, for sure.
And so if you want to write a book about success, failure will come knocking at your door. If you want to write a book about being a man, challenges will come. So I had to navigate the passing of my father, which was very hard, getting married, losing money, having challenges, praying. You see, also my life coach is at the back there, Lorraine. Lorraine Nutza, she's known me for a decade as well. So one of the reasons that I'm saying it work and in my author journey is because of Lorraine. So she knows all of my secrets. So if you guys want to know what those are, you can book a consultation with her. She can tell you all those for free. So I went through all of these challenges, and then 6 months ago, we welcomed our baby girl to the world. Yes, you guys can clap for that, yes. And it just came, this is a full circle moment for us to raise better men. And this book is now needed now more than ever, because this is not a man mission, this is not a woman mission, this is a human mission that I'm very privileged to be able to share that with you today. So, Mr. Grant, we can get into it.
Okay, thank you very much. Another round of applause for the gentleman. There you go. So, firstly, just my background around this gentleman that's sitting right next to me. First time I met him, and in this case, I'm looking at the first book. I'm going to look at your book as timelines, right? I meet him, and astonishing, articulate. And before I met him, people kept saying, look, Grant, if you want to write a book, you have to talk to this guy first. Only met him the night that you were selling your book at a Toastmaster event in this case, and everything that I'd heard about him was absolutely true. Astonishing gentleman. A couple of years after, we're now in Monte Casino, and you've got your second book out. So I've been an avid reader as well. My, oh my. Treat yourself like a business, right? Took a couple of those concepts, I started to utilize them as well. So hey, my bank account looks a bit different now. And perhaps that's why I'm also looking for this thing called financial independence as well.
Can I get 10%?
5%, that sounds good.
All right, I'll cut you the 5%.
So his growth has been one that's always been consistent. Now, doctor, third book out, father, that is just title after title after title. I'm looking forward to what someone might have to say around what the next book's going to be.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm that and she'll pick whichever one it was.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now, with this specific book, Father of Man, something that caught my eye was as follows. Your family is watching. What will they see? Tell me more about the thought process around that specific statement.
Yeah, so with building better men, I don't see how you can aspire to be the best man possible if you are not focused viscerally on building a family around you. Because my own father always used to say, and you learn this the easy way or the hard way, when you are in hospital or you're in trouble or you're in prison, whatever the case is, they're not going to ask for the president of the country where you stay. They're not going to ask for who your banker is. They're not going to ask for the influencer. They're going to ask you, who is your next of kin? That is your brother, your sister, your mom, or your spouse. So leadership and being a better man starts at home. And people often make the mistake of saying, I'm going to be a great man out there. I'm going to be a giant in business. I'm going to be a giant at work. However, you're neglecting what's happening at home, because you can't be present at work all the time and then at home you're absent. You're busy taking selfies with your child, but you don't know what their grades are. You're busy, posting that you're out with your wife and olives and plates and getting croissants and blue cheese, but at home she hardly gets what it is that you need. So the family creates a community, and the community will build the province, and the province will build the nation, and the nation builds the world. So first and foremost, when you're saying, I want to be a better man, everyone here can say that I'm great. Everyone can say that I'm an astonishing gentleman. You can say that I'm great. However, that doesn't mean anything if my wife doesn't say that I'm astonishing, that I'm great, because she knows me more than anybody knows me. And then also my children, my daughter, when they grow up, if they're all saying that my father's there for me, he's great, he's building, then you can take that word as gospel. Yes. Because people like to portray this mask of saying that I'm a great person out there, but the true test is what happens at home. So that was a very big call for me.
Okay, that's fair enough. So if I'm understanding correctly, you're basically saying, look, when it comes down to being a great man, you can probably only tell half the story. The other story, or half of the other story, in this case, is about the family that's obviously around you that can testify to that statement.
Correct.
Okay, no, fair enough. Now, your book in this case, you break down 5 ideals. And those ideals in this case, you guys will buy the book, correct? Yes. Goes as follows, right? Just something for them to also hold on to.
100%, yeah.
Right? Be honest with self, embodying true masculinity, solving what's wrong, building children for the future, and learning from fathers. Now I'm going to start from the back. What did your father get right in concern with your growth when it comes down to manhood?
He was very good. There were 2 things that kept us in line at home. That was faith, church, and weapons. So that's what he used.
Sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar, right? Yeah. With him, a bit of backstory around him. I like telling his story because many men and boys, they saying, I'm not a great man because I didn't have a father in the home. You'll hear that quite often. Sure. However, he didn't know his own father. Like, his father passed away while he was still in the womb. He made a conscious decision to say, my children are going to know me, and know him, we did. My brother has his first name Temba, and then I have his second name James. So even though he's transitioned to the next life, he's still around. And then for him, he taught many lessons, but he also modeled it, and how he treated my mother, how he instilled discipline, how he instilled focus and reliability. And one of the lessons that I do talk about there is he was a man of education, but when he also didn't know something, he wasn't going to act like he knew it. He would say, here's a book, I know nothing about being a billionaire. Here's Robert Kiyosaki's, here's your Bill Gates, here's the autobiographies, you must go and read after them for yourselves. And that's one of the things that he taught me, is that sometimes there are lessons that you will have to learn for yourself. But majority of the lessons that we learned, he didn't just talk about them. He did it. We could see him do it. Like, you could see him being present for his children. You could see him studying. You could see him being a strong executive. And also, he didn't really mess around with what he wanted to get instilled in his children. One of the biggest fear statements, I'm sure you guys know this, when my mother couldn't get us to act right, she would say, wait until your father gets home. Yeah.
Just you saying that brings back memories as well. Completely correct concerning that. There are things, as you put across, there are things that you definitely learned from your father, and then there are things that you also had to teach yourself. And I know that you also document some of those things within the book as well. Maybe just elaborate on the things that you had to also look at and say, well, this is something I'm going to have to teach myself.
One of the things that I had to really teach myself was, it's really the very first chapter goes in really hard, and that one is introspection. To be able to face yourself in the mirror and to look at what it is that's going wrong with you and what's actually going right with you. Because no one can actually teach that, for you to be honest with yourself and being honest with your current reality, right? So I had to learn to be able to tell myself the truth. Because if you are not able to tell yourself the truth about your situation, how are you going to improve? How are you going to change it? And that is you sitting with a journal and really being open and honest with yourself to say, okay, maybe this is something I don't know, or maybe I'm not as great as I think I really am. And one of those ways you can find the truth is to get other people to tell you the truth without being offended. And that's why life coaches are important, and therapists are important. Yes, I pay a lot of money for other people to tell me what's wrong with me, so I can sort of sort myself out, right? So that is one of the hardest things I had to really teach myself, because it's very easy for me to look outwards and say, it's that person's fault, it's the government's fault, the family that's not lending me money, I have a problem with them too, it's their fault as well. But learn to teach yourself every single day, to tell yourself the truth about your current reality is something not anyone else can. People can say it, like, tell the truth, but you have to actually do it and learn it for yourself. That's one of the hardest things that I had to learn.
That's absolutely fair. Now, I'm sure most of you have probably looked into the mirror, truth-wise, and sometimes you've gone, I'm okay, and then walked out as a result, right? Not necessarily dealing with the truth per se. How are you, when the truth comes to you, sometimes we look at it from the point of view of, this hurts too much, can't do anything about it, and sometimes you ignore it completely. From your side, how do you actually perceive that, okay, here comes truth, and this is now my reaction going forward?
You start off being very immature about it, because like, it's not me. I can't be this terrible person, right? It takes a lot of humility and a lot of being grounded for you to be able to face the truth and be able to overcome it. So for example, a lot of people don't want to face the truth that there's certain traumas that they've gone through. A big theme in the book is dealing with your inner child and taking your inner child on a journey. And it is easier for you to just live your life and just forget that something bad happened to you, or you got 50% instead of 60%, or you got let go at work and it didn't affect you. But you need to ground yourself in a very humble state to say, this is the truth that other people, if other people are saying this about me, and I'm paying them to tell me this, then maybe it's actually true and I need to do something about it. And it's really hard, but if you do the things that are hard, your life will be easy.
Oh yeah.
And if you do the things that are easy, your life will be hard. So it's easy. Yes. I'll take it. So it's easy for you to ignore your traumas. It's easy for you to lie to yourself. It's easy for you to just watch the world burn and do nothing about it. But what is the cost of that? Is it okay for you to just watch people being abused or people being misused? Is it okay for the world to not know your gifts out in the world? Is that okay? The hardest part is often the truthful part, but it's the one that's carved by principle. And those principles will help build you into becoming a better person. Because a lot of people are saying, men are trash, you guys can do better, or they'll look at the world, or just look at the price of petrol and all of those things. However, you guys are laughing at the petrol. Yeah. I appreciate you guys coming, even though the petrol went up by 3 liters. Thank you very much. Your sacrifice is very much appreciated. But if you look at the world that you want to build, everybody wants a great world. Everyone wants people to be honest with them. Everybody wants to be safe. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants the best version of the person that they're speaking to. Now, the flip side of that is that you have to work every single day to build yourself into that person.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate reality is that it's difficult, it's gut-wrenching, and it needs a daily choice of truth.
That's absolutely fair. Joe, that's great outlining. I'm just looking in this case and just putting inside my mind as well that next time I look into the mirror and I decide, I've actually got to deal with the truth. A good question that you've obviously instilled in me right now is, what's the cost? What's the cost if I walk out here and don't adhere to the truth that's in front of me?
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely pertinent. So thank you for that. You also mentioned here, we face a crisis of masculinity. Not broken men, but unhealed boys.
Ooh.
I will get a bit lighter, but for now, please unpack that.
Is that where we are right now?
Yes.
So, I think it was Frederick Douglass who said that it is easier to raise strong boys than to heal broken men. And the title of the book, Father of Man, comes from the William Wordsworth quote that says, "Child is the father of man." When I first read that, I'm like, that is a paradox. It doesn't make sense because normally it is the adult that gives birth to the child.
True.
But metaphorically, it's saying the experiences that you go through as a child help form you into the man or the woman that you're going to become. Because if you look at the book cover, there's a boy looking into the child. And the child is looking into the man. The man is looking at what he once was that led him to become what he is. And then the child is looking at what he will be that starts with where he is right now. So normally when you're suffering from a self-confidence issue or it's a doubt issue, you can look back into your childhood and see experiences that you have gone through that led to you to having self-confidence issues. And if you have great confidence, probably you were affirmed when you were a child.
True.
So then now, if you're looking at yourself as an adult, if you're looking at most of the quote-unquote broken men out there, the majority of them are not that way because they woke up when they were like 5 years old and say, I want to be a bad person one day. When you speak to boys and you ask them, what is it that you want to become? Not a single one of them says, I want to be a criminal. Not a single one of them says, I want to be a woman beater. Not a single one of them says, I want to be a scammer. What do they always dream about? I want to be a superhero. I want to change the world. I want to be a president of this country. I want to be a multi-billionaire. All of those are good things. But then somewhere along the line, when they were growing up, experiences happened to them through no fault of their own that started shaping them and their worldview that led them to become the way that they are. So if we want to heal the men, we need to heal the child within the man.
Sure.
And we haven't been giving men really the space, the safe space to sit around and say, Nkek, what's actually going on here? What's actually wrong with you? What is the trauma that you are going through? Let's not look at whether what you're doing out there. What happened to you? And once you can start dealing with those and unraveling those, and it's really difficult, then the full potential of who they want to become starts coming forth. So if you look at many of the people who are in prisons, they're not career criminals, by the way. I did the research. They're not in syndicates in the mafia. They are just men who acted out of anger, or they were looking for an association and father figures. And what ended up happening, there was no father at home, or the father passed away at young, and then they always going to be looking for someone to emulate and imitate. And then if there's no father in the home, they will find the father in the street. And
Fair.
that's what's actually been happening. So to help build and heal the man, you need to go and speak to them, speak to the boy in them, because I write that every single man was once or is someone's little boy.
True.
Every single man is someone's little boy. Because when we were growing up as boys, who here has a boy mom? Who here has got children that are boys? You're a boy mom, okay. Right, so there we go. So when your boy hit a wall or was bullied at school or scraped himself, what's the first thing the mother or the father would do? They'll give them a hug and say, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. You give them a kiss, give them a hug, you give them a Band-Aid. And then now we're all men now, and we're asking ourselves, why did that stop?
Ooh.
Because now we're being told, you have to be strong, men don't cry, you have to pay.
What do you
And
say?
pay again. You must pay to get married, pay to stay married, pay to have children, pay to keep your children off the street. You're just paying. I think us men, we need sponsorship from MasterCard or Visa because we're here all the time, right? So we also do all these manly things, but you're forgetting that at some point
Yeah.
you are still someone's little boy.
Yeah.
My mom still calls me boy till this day.
Yeah.
Till this, there we go, BB. Till this day, because she said to me, I don't care, even if you become the president of the world, you are still boy, whether I like it or not. And so a lot of men are facing that crisis whereby they're going through all these issues and going through all these hard times, and no one is saying, validating their pain and their experiences to say, what you went through was not okay. So let's try and start healing you so that you can become the man that you were supposed to be.
Sure. Let's just let that sit for a while, eh? As you're speaking, I'm obviously reflecting as well, and contemplating things around also my mom. So when you asked the question, in my mind, I read the following. There's some of us, when we look at our parents, we're like the favorites, right? In my case, it's my mom. And I can recall as you were putting across every time I would hit a wall or something bad would happen, I can see my mom right now looking into my eyes and saying, you'll be fine. Go out there, go and do something. And then you go into the world that you put across and you're like, hey, where did she do this? What just happened? That rug is almost pulled under you. And I think that was a very important point that you raised there. Excuse me. Now, everybody has a different definition for the following word. And I'm sure if I were to start from this point all the way until that end, we'd all have a different definition of this word. The word that is in question is man. What does it mean to be a man?
Yeah, it means that you don't support Arsenal, Manchester United. Or recent K Times Liverpool. You don't support. No, I'm kidding.
That Arsenal one hit very.
Oh, I see you've got your trophy. So, what does it mean to be a man? So, when you guys buy the book and go and read the book, the answer to this question is in chapter 10. And it's titled Man. so that no one's confused what that chapter is talking about. And that's where I took a very long time to ruminate on what it means to be a man. And I first started with what a man is not. Many people are acting like just males and acting like boys, and they're parading as men. But that's not the case. What does that mean? I will explain. There's levels to masculinity. You're born male. No one is born a man. It's never happened.
Wow.
You're born male. The XY chromosome, the physical buildup, the hormonal buildup. Now, that's given to you by nature. It's given to you by God. You become the highest level of man, a father of man, by adopting a high level of responsibility and having a high level of consciousness. As you grow up from being a male, you graduate to being a boy. Now that's where you're playful, and that's where you're starting to know more about the world. And a lot of quote-unquote men don't graduate past being a boy. When you are a man, now you're adopting a higher level of responsibility for yourself and other people. And you're conscious of what's wrong with you, what's wrong with the world, and what you need to work on, and also what you need to fix. Then above that is husband and father. That is very difficult, because now you are becoming the best version of a man, not just for you, but for your spouse and for your children, and you need to lead them and in the businesses. And then there's father of man. Wow. And that's a man that is in touch with his inner child and can lead himself and other people. A man, by definition, we're not here to be successful just for ourselves. We're here to be successful for our wife and our children. This is why most men don't inherently want Porsches. They want Porsches because they know that raises their status, so that they ensure that they can take care of a woman, they can take care of a family. So by man, anybody can just have a baby, by the way, but not everyone can raise that child. Y'all don't hear me. Yo, that was deep. Yeah.
Give him a round of applause. Don't be shy. There we go.
And everybody can say that I've got this woman or I'm dating this woman, but not everyone can take care of her and bring the best forth out of her. There are 5 roles that a man has to play for you to say that you are a man. You are a protector. So if a man, we can end GBV today if every man says, I'm a protector of the woman. So you're not going to be hitting her or hurting her. You're also protecting her from the world. Sometimes you need to protect them from themselves and their own self-doubt.
Wow.
Not like that. No, man. Sometimes the self-doubt that they have because they're begging to be led. And then there's the provider. It's not just this is where MasterCard, Visa, we get that, we have to pay and pay. But it's also the intimacy and the emotional stability that you have to provide for them. Then I'm from a Christian background, a church background, so I'll be using that language. There's the prophet. You are calling the best forth out of her. So the verbal abuse of you saying that you're useless, you're not going to be worthy, that's not what a prophet does. A prophet says that you are going to be the best that you possibly can be, and affirm that to them every single day and show them. Then there is the priest. That's a person who prays for their wife and takes them and puts them before God. So those are the roles that a man has to play. And you don't just stay a man. It's a choice that you have to make every single day. It's not like on the 9th of April, I'm a man, and on the 10th of April, I'm going to do nothing. It's a choice that you have to make every single day, and it's very difficult for us to get to that point. But the hard path is the path of principle and truth that leads to a better world.
Okay, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yes, please. A very tough question to actually answer, if you think about it, based off of all of the opinions that obviously are flying around and so forth. So that was brilliantly articulated. Protector, provider, promoter, priest, and prophet. Okay. Now, still on manhood, and this is my last question concerning manhood, and then we'll get into fatherhood, right? I'm recently married, so I've got a lot of questions for you.
Yeah, good, go ahead.
In concern with manhood, right, and where we end specifically this segment, what's one question that you are thinking of or that you know of that every man should be asking themselves, and perhaps the people around us should be asking us as well?
The question that men should be asking themselves is, why am I not acting as what I should be?
Ooh. Why am I not acting as I should be?
Because you're asking yourself that you want to be a man. You're claiming to be a man, but you're not acting like a man. And you want to be a man. So what is actually stopping you? Because for you to get to where you want to be, you need to know where you are. And the question every man should be asking themselves is, why are you not acting as the man you should and can be? Because if the way you phrase questions, it will lead you to the answer. Sometimes the questions are more powerful than the answers. And I've heard that one of the most painful questions that the teenagers ask is, oh, but why, but why, but why? It's important to be asking why. Why am I not where I should be? And if you sit down and think about it, you know what the answer is, and you're going to get to a point where you can actually answer that question. One of the blockers is, I don't know how to do it. Another blocker is, I don't know how to get there. Another blocker is, and it's very hard for you to accept, and I had to grapple with this question, is I'm not sure that I can do it. Which is very painful, because you can't achieve something if you inherently don't know that you can do something. So one of the events that's the spin-off of the book is called Our Whiskey and Bride Chats. Yes, it's very true. There is whiskey, and there's food, and it's a safe space for men to come and gather around. And what was liberating to see with the men that were there is that there was a space for them to talk about the traumas and issues that they're facing. And what liberated each and every single one of us there was knowing that we are not alone in the pain that we're going through. And if I have examples of someone who was able to overcome something, then I know I can do so myself. So the biggest question you should be asking the men in your life, other than why they don't have a copy of the book, is
facts.
Is, what is stopping you from being the man you should be and can be?
What is stopping you from being the man you should be and can be? And as you also articulated, create that safe space to wait for that answer as well. Lovely. Fatherhood, what's that like?
Yeah, it's again, you pay, like guys. It is. There's nothing like that. There's absolutely nothing like that. Once you are holding your child, your entire life changes. And now you're like, yo, I can't be lazy now, hey? The school fees that have to be paid, but more importantly, it's looking at yourself and saying, the life that I am going to live is not just for myself anymore, because now there's this human being that is watching me every single day, how I treat her mother and how I act. 18 years from now, what is she going to be saying about the father that was in her life? Because I am the very first male example she will ever have. And so if I don't model that the best way possible, there's going to be some problems. So fatherhood, I really know that I'm responsible. Like the weight of responsibility is not lost on me, but it's very liberating. It really is a driver for me. When she was born, the doctor gave her to me, and we just looked at each other. Wow. It seemed like for an eternity. Yep. She didn't blink at all. And I was looking at her, and I thought to myself, I don't know what I'm doing, you don't know what you're doing, but we'll all figure this out together. So it's very good, because now you start thinking about schools. When it comes to work, you're thinking about how you're going to structure things and pay for things. The protective instinct kicks in, where you're like, now I need to protect. Like, I need to go for, maybe I need to go for some gun training, maybe do some jiu-jitsu or Krav Maga. But that instinct kicks in that I have to be the best protector that I can be.
Fair enough. That's wow. And I can't help it but ask.
Yeah.
The second name, was that Nadal inspired or?
Of course, you guys were going to ask if that's Rafael Nadal. So for people who don't have context, our daughter's name is Njabulo. That was not my idea. That was my wife's idea. I'm just letting you know. And the second name is Rafaela, and then the next name is Lucy. That comes from my mother. You see, there's levels there. There's levels. So Rafaela, I have an obsession with angels and angelic beings, and Raphael is the angel of healing, and it's also one of the names of God. So for us, because we waited for her for so long, it made sense to call her Rafaela because it means the one who brings healing or the one who is healed. It just so happened that Nadal is my favorite tennis player. Hey, there's a boy, tell the truth, somebody hold it up. It just so happened that Nadal is my favorite tennis player. So I was like, look at God, look at the alignment here. So that's where the name came from. It's biblically inspired, and then second of all, it was just coincidence.
Those of you who believe that it's just a coincidence, just put your hand up.
I spent 2 minutes trying to tell you that.
And he spun the story so well. So well. But we're on to you.
Yeah.
I can recall, and you mentioned this example, that if you were obviously misbehaving, your mom would then say, hey, just wait until your dad comes. And I don't know if you guys watch videos online and so forth. You'll find that if a child is misbehaving and is talking bad to the mom, for some strange odd reason, bad manners, as soon as the dad walks in and gives a stare of some sort, all of a sudden it changes, right? I can also recall, if my mom told me, you're gonna do well, I'd say, great. If my dad looked at me and said, you're gonna do well, that almost changed my autonomy as a whole. The responsibility that fathers have in children's life, where does that go wrong?
So that goes wrong by fathers not understanding the importance of the responsibility that they have as fathers. So if you study the psychological literature, everyone here, their sense of self-worth, not love, your sense of self-worth, came from your father or your father figure. Your sense of self-worth comes from your father or your father figure. So that's why it's important for fathers to say to their children, I believe in you, I am proud of you, and you are going to succeed. The nurturing, the care, and the love they get from their mothers. The sense of discipline and self-worth comes from the fathers. I remember in grade 6, I got 22% for maths. You guys are very impressed, yes. You guys are impressed, eh? No? Okay, all right. And then I gave my dad a report card, and he just said, let's go. No, he said, Njabulo, yeah, let's go for a drive. And I'm from Benoni. We took a drive to Davidson in Benoni at 6 p.m. I thought he was going to, transition me nicely to the next life. But we stopped outside my grandmother's house, and he said back when he was failing grade 8, his mother said to him, what are you going to do now? If you don't focus on your education, you're going to die like a dog. So he said that to me. If you don't get this thing right, you make it in life, not because you're handsome, but because you work hard in life. And that was his way of saying, you are smart and you are capable, so you need to work hard in life. Now, all of us in my household were progressive citizens of the world because my father understood the weight of responsibility that he had, and he enforced it with discipline, sometimes a weapon, sometimes, and his words, and he understood. So all the people are going to be fathers, and ladies, if you're going to be choosing someone to be a father to your child,
wow,
you need to pick someone who understands the weight of the responsibility. So that's where it goes wrong.
The weight of the responsibility. Now, inside your book, just like your dad, for those of you who know Njabulo, he's a very direct guy. Doesn't seem to like to beat around the bushes, just always direct. In your book and in the subsequent books as well, you've been direct consistently. In concern with this specific book, how did you carry that throughout? In that specific book, I'm talking about the last book in this case. Just the directness.
It's a model of what's going on in the world and what was going on with myself, because in the world, we like to meander around topics. We like to tiptoe around the important topics. And with this book, because a central theme of it is integrity and truth, the truth just needs you to be direct. It means that you're not doing well because you're lazy.
Full stop.
Or you're not doing well because you don't care. Just call it what it is. That's what it is. Let's call it what it is. So the directness is, because also my writing style, I just like to be direct. I like to use short, sharp sentences and ideas. But the theme with this book is it needs to go straight to the heart of the issue and not to, because like with this book, only 287 pages. This is people's time and attention. So to serve the people who are reading this book and want to have their lives changed, and with the time pressures that everybody has, you need to be as direct as possible. And also you'll get it once you start reading, that we're not here to play games. We're here to get to the heart of the issue. So with this one, because I spent 6 to 7 years writing this book. So that's a lot of time and a lot of thought, and someone who's put a lot of time and a lot of thought in an idea can explain it to you very short and very sharply. You've ever been in a meeting and you ask them, so what went wrong with this deal? Hey, ha, 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 hey, but they won't give you an answer. But someone who knows what went wrong is like, no, we messed up this deal because the price wasn't right. As an example, that's a person who knows what they're doing and they're looking at a solution. And also people don't want long-winded solutions. They need short, direct solutions that I can take this and do something about it right now. That's why I'm direct in this book.
Thank you so much. And as I continue to read it, I appreciate that sense of thoughtfulness. The sense of urgency that I feel once I read a sentence, I know I can now do something as opposed to meander and maneuver around unendlessly. I'm going to end off with the following question. We are all going to buy this book. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do that one more time. Yes? Yes. Ah, perfect. What's one principle, right? And maybe you could direct it to me directly. What's one principle you're looking at and you're like, Grant, if you do not get this principle, the directness with you is going to be very serious. But use me like as an example. You're actually talking to these guys.
Use you as an example. You're an Arsenal fan, so this is very apt. You're not a big club anymore. It's okay, you're not a big club anymore. Look at Man United fans, they're having a wonderful time. Ferguson left a long time ago, so they tell themselves the truth about this situation. So if there's one thing that you cannot absolutely get wrong, chapter 8, tell the truth. Or at least don't lie. And because how can you align yourself with reality if you keep falsifying it? You build yourself out of words. So if you keep talking lies, what type of person are you building? Because scripture always says, thou shalt not bear false witness. And you really cannot get away from telling the truth because it always comes up. And this is why no one here is a psychopath, I believe, but psychopaths always lie. They are constantly lying, constantly on the run, and no great relationship, no business deal, no friendship, no book deal can ever last if you're continuously building your life on the foundation of lies. Because a lie may take care of today, but it has no future. So if you want a great future, you have to tell the truth today. Because truth, yes, I'll take that. Because truth is all there is. Only a falsehood needs to be invented. So the truth is there. It's there. And if you don't want to face it, you can't change your life. And if you get that wrong, what type of life are you building? Your family is watching. What are they going to see? I'm sure everyone here has gone through an experience where you're living this entire life and you're basing your entire life on all these principles, and you get to the point where you're in your 30s and you think you've got things figured out, only to realize that your entire life and existence was predicated on a lie. That will break people. I've seen people, because at varsity at Rhodes I was a wellness leader, and you're like a mini counselor, and there were so many good boys who found out that their father was not their father because their mother perpetuated a lie. And so that guy is now broken. He's like, I don't know what's going to be happening with me now. And lies like that, it never ends well. So tell yourself the truth, or stop saying things that you know are lies. Stop saying things that you know to be false. My mother is also that. Where does my directness come from? It also comes from my mom. She doesn't, she's here. She's a person of principle and she's a person of truth. And she would always say to me, tell the truth. Yegela amanga. I'm like, okay, 100%. So, and she would always say that if you're constantly lying, you are the friend of the devil. I'm like, I don't want to be a friend of the devil. I want to be God's friend. Yes. I want to be a friend of God, and people who are friends of God, they tell the truth. So you cannot get that wrong, because at the end of the day, you're going to be facing yourself and you know that if you're constantly perpetuating lies, you're violating your own conscience. And you can't violate your conscience. If you violate your conscience long enough, Freud said that things that are undealt with become buried and they just manifest in an uglier way. They will come up. That's why some parents are like, why is my child acting like this? There are lies that you told them and that you told yourself, and now they're coming out, and life is saying, face the lies that you've been telling with truth and with wholeness, because that's why hard choices now, easy life later. Easy choices now, hard life later. So tell yourself the truth and keep your bottle.
Njabulo, thank you so much definitely for your time. Thank you for once again blessing the world with another book. I'm a big fan of your writing, and as I continue to read this book, which you all will do as well, I know for a fact that on the other end, a better man will definitely come from that. So I really do appreciate that. I also appreciate your growth, right? I feel for the time I've known you, outside of being a Chelsea supporter, but that's for another day, right?
World champions, bro, world champions.
I like the way you talked about Arsenal and they laughed. I talk about Chelsea and everyone's like, no, that's not funny. But okay, let's continue. Anyhow, my point being as follows, that you've always looked in a specific direction and you've just said, I'm going there, and then he's there. And I found that to always be inspiring. So thank you for that. Thank you for the book. Thank you for your time here as well. And
are there any questions?
That being said, I now leave over this to the crowd. I know for a fact that some of you may have questions. Now is your time to ask away.
I do have a microphone for anyone that might want to ask a question.
As you're thinking about the question, Chelsea, what made you start supporting that team?
Gianfranco Zola,
Okay.
Tori Andre Flo, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank,
Now he's just showing off. Now he's just showing off.
I almost supported Liverpool because I liked Michael Owen. And then Manchester United was just talking too much, and I didn't like people to talk too much. Yes, Tender, we talked about this on the podcast, so that's how I ended up supporting Chelsea, because I was like, they're a mid-table team, I can ride with them. And they're now champions of the world. Look at that.
All right. We have a question. Thank you, sir, for putting me out of my misery.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Mr. Njabulo. I think I've been speaking to Yana for a while, and I've been telling her that men are not open to being counseled, neither are they open to this concept of whiskey and bride. So I just want to know, who do you invite to these events? How do you get a hold of boys or the men to invite to these events? And to the men that are in the room, what words of encouragement would you give to encourage that discipleship of growing with them?
All right, thanks for the question. So, for the whiskey and bride chats, these are strictly for men. Strictly for men. We're going to open it up to boys later on, but I wanted to start with the men. And there's no set criteria for what type of man can come. It's a man who is looking to have an open space and a safe space to have a conversation about what's going wrong with them, or to share, or to have a space to cry, and for other men to be around them to show them that you're not going through this alone and by yourself. And well, the first one we had was 2 weeks ago. It was a pilot. We piloted it. It was a massive success. It was heavy. I thought we were going to be there just for 2 hours because I'm like, men don't talk. Was I wrong? We talked. People left the house at like 8:30. And it's important to say you can invite other men to come along and obviously to participate. And we talk about themes in the book. The last theme was tell the truth. And we talked about the truth about our situations and talked about our traumas and what we're going to do about that. And what was liberating, other people could see that this person is going through this and overcame it. So can I. So we're going to theme it once, 2 to 3 months. We will have these whiskey and bride chats. As I said, there is whiskey and there's also soft drinks as well. And there is food and snacks. And we run facilitations on certain key questions. And we say, strictly speaking, we tell the truth to ourselves and everyone here. And it's a safe space, and no one is there to be judged. Everyone is there to be listened to and to be encouraged. The next one is the 20th of June. When you leave, you will have a flyer for that, yes. Yes.
Hi, I'm Audible. Hey, Jobs.
Hey.
Yeah, and Jobs and I went to varsity together. So I came to support because despite the work that I do, I work with like youth development. I'm a big advocate for the boy child, especially because all the girls have enough programs and stuff for them, right? During this, you mentioned a lot of statements around being a man and, a man should do this or whatever. What is a man, to be honest? What is the definition of what a man is and should be, and why should they be that?
So, to go back, the definition of a man is, in essence, a male who's made the conscious decision, have decided to adopt the highest level of responsibility that they can for themselves and for other people, and not to shy away from that responsibility. And you have a deeper level of consciousness of saying, here's where I'm falling short, and if I am falling short, there is mentorship and discipleship and things that I can do around where I can get that example. And why should they be men? No one wants, honestly speaking, no one wants an irresponsible human being. No one wants to constantly stay around someone who is broken and still decides to stay in their brokenness when there is another option. So, like I said, the healing of this world starts in the family, the nuclear family. And the person who can best lead that nuclear family is the man. And then that's the community, and then it's the nation, then it's the world. So that's why they should be there.
Okay, we've got 3 other hands.
May I add to your question? So I grew up in a matriarchal family,
Yeah.
and the woman was that. So what makes it specifically a man? Trust me, like I said, I'm an advocate for the boy child. I just want to get deeper into what you're talking about. So there are families that are run by women and that thrive just as much. So what's the difference?
So the difference there, if you take the time to really look at the research and look at the literature and you can speak to people going through that conversation, no woman wants to have to carry the burden of leading the family just by herself. Any woman that wants to do that, raise your hand if you want to do that. Just not one, like not one. So the man has got a specific
disposition, protective by nature, driven by nature, focused by nature. And normally, if you go to a house and you know that there's a strong man there, you're going to be like, I'm not going to be going there. However, if it's just a woman that are left there by themselves, you might say, let me take a chance. But if you go there and you know that John Wick is there, you're not going to, you know what I mean? So no woman, and I've spoken to many of them and also interviewed them here quickly, no man, no woman wants to have to carry the burden of protecting, providing, and leading the family just by herself if she has a choice. If she doesn't have a choice, she will step up and give credence to the women around the room because you guys are very strong. But no woman wants to have to, and nor should they carry the burden of leading, protecting, and guiding the family. Because if you look at most people that are in prisons and acting as delinquents, many of them didn't have that strong father presence constantly at home or a father figure. So that's why men should strive to be better men.
Fair enough. We've got another question, and then there's one. Okay. There's quite a few questions. Time.
Good evening, everybody. Mine is not a question, it's really a comment that and I want to go to the quotation by Oscar Romero, who says, and I mean, I've read the book until chapter 8. One of the things that Oscar Romero speaks, and I think he speaks to me, he speaks to us as men, he speaks to us as fathers, and he speaks to us as human beings, that the only gospel that people come to know, you are that gospel. And I believe that in terms of the boy child, raising a boy child, we need to be that gospel, that good news, so that when they grow up, they understand what it means to be a gospel and live a better life that is free of violence, free of abuse, free of GBV, and know, going back to another quotation by Roy Bennett, as parents, children trust us. And do not lie to any person who trusts you. Yeah. And do not trust a person who lies to you.
Thank you.
So it's very much important to do that.
Correct, Bishop, correct.
All right, Njabulo, just a quick one. I had a chat with you a little earlier, and I was letting you know that I have a friend with the exact same name, Njabulo Nkosi, and he happens to be a pastor. So having listened to you speak just now, it just came to mind that this man should be in the ministry, or he should at least consider it, because with the message that you have, I think it's such a powerful message that could be propagated far more on a regular basis if you're someone.
Yeah, so just very, very quickly. So in 2024, I became an ordained minister, so that you know. And I currently serve in the kids ministry at Rivers Church. Where's my all-star team? There we go, yeah. So on a regular basis on a Sunday, we're preaching to the kids and teaching them how to become better. And my doctorate is a doctor in ministry, so.
My question is, we live in a world where, obviously, there's a lot of war between men and women, and you hear a lot of women speaking these statements, men are trash, and how do we, as women, how would you advise women to become allies with men and partner with them to become better, as friends, partners, wives, whatsoever? Yeah, that's my question.
So the very first thing I'd say, buy every man in your world a copy of the book. That's step one. See, got you. And then, like I said, the issues that we're having, they're not just man issues, not just woman issues, these are human issues. Because if you have a better man, you have a better partner, you have a better protector, provider, promoter, and priest. And how you become allies is wanting, first of all, you need to deep down want a better man. If you don't want a better man, why are you going to ally yourself with something that you inherently don't want? And why are you going to ally yourself with something you don't believe can exist? I've spoken to a lot of boy moms, and they've got their child and they say, I love you and I want you to become the best that you possibly can be. But their internal dialogue and discourse is that all men are trash. Now, where is this boy going to learn to become a better man if your internal belief system and you're propagating the message that all men are trash, like all of us, we gave you the iPhone, guys, all of us, not all men are trash. So if you want a better man, then you have to believe that they can be a better man. You innately are going to partner with them to say, I believe you can become better. And that's why the subtitle is to build better men, because some women want more than JP Morgan Chase Bank when it comes to requirements of what a man should be. And you want a perfect man to shatter your existence. Perfect man doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Never has been, never will be. But you can say to them, men love progress. All human beings love progress. If you're not progressing, well, then what are you doing? And you can progress when you have the dialogue that say, hey, John, I believe that you can become better. You are better than this. There's no greater call to a higher level of responsibility than saying, Ella, you are better than this. Then you go and think about your life and say how I can become better. So women need to first want better men and believe that better men can exist.
I get the feeling that we could be here. I get the feeling we could be here all night. But just to thank Njabulo, thank you so much, Grant. It was a really very interesting conversation, and I think it's raised a lot of questions. But if you're interested, Njabulo has been invited to the Kingsmead Book Festival, the Kingsmead School on the 23rd of May. So you can go online and buy tickets. I think that will also be a very, very interesting conversation. Please buy the book. I think a lot of the questions that you may still have, you will find answers in this book. And Njabulo will be signing at the back there, at a table at the back there. I'll bring and so I just want to thank you again for being a very interactive audience, and enjoy the book, enjoy the rest of your evening, and get home safely.